Good evening everyone. So picking up where we left off in video 4, we're now going to configure the Firepower Management Center and also the FTDs. I had a quick look at this earlier, and the port channel that we configured in between the core switch and the Firepower FTDs, these just where there's two of them don't support the multi-chassis for channel, so we're going to have to kill this port channel here first. Okay, so if I remember rightly, I think it was port channel 1, but we'll just double check that. So port channel 1 is interface gig 00 and 01, and those are the interfaces we're after. I think, yeah, looking at that, that is a statically configured Ether channel. So we can go ahead and use the interface range command for gig 00 through 01, and we can do a no channel group 1 node on. That'll take it out of the Ether channel, and we will do a no interface port channel 1 as well to get rid of the port channel. We'll confirm our work. So the port channel's gone. Okay, there we go. Yep, so the way this will work now is these will be configured as a HA pair. So one of the firewalls will take over the .2 address at any one time, and should it go down, then the other one will take over that address. These interfaces will just be up, but only one will be passing traffic over to the firewalls. Okay, so let's get started with the FMC setup. Okay, so the standard login for this is admin and admin123. Okay, so it's actually picked up an IP address already. Okay, so that's easy enough. Let's kick off the FTDs then. This is admin and admin123 with a capital A as well. Okay, we'll press enter to accept the end user license agreement. Or to read it at least. We'll press enter now to accept it. We will set a new password. We do want to configure IPv4. We don't want to configure IPv6. We do want to set a static address, and we want to set it to, take a look over here. So this one is FTD1. That's going to be 172.29.129.30 /24-bit mask. Gateway 172.29.129.254. Excuse me. Fully qualified domain name will be FTD1. DNS servers for this. We will use, yes, we'll use the internal. Okay, while that's doing that, we'll go ahead and configure FTD2. Admin, admin and admin with a capital A, 1, 2, 3. Yep, accept the agreements, set the new password, yes to IPv4, no to IPv6, yes to static, and this one's 172.29.129.35, I believe. Yeah. /24. .254 is the gateway. This is FTD2. .17.5 for DNS. Okay, let's see if FTD1 is ready. Okay. Do we want to manage the device locally? Well, no, because we're going to configure the FMC. And the same for FTD2. Anybody who's worked with firepower devices before probably knows that while they are quite a good device, at least in my estimation, they can be a bit slow. Okay, yeah, so we want to configure it as a rooted firewall as opposed to a transparent one. Just wait for FTD2 to give us the same prompt, and I'll probably pause the video there and wait for it to complete. And there we go. So I'll just wait for these two to configure themselves. I'll pause the video and pick it up when they're done. Okay, there we are. So that actually didn't take too long. So what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and we'll tell the FTDs that we want them to be managed by our FMC. For those eagle-eyed viewers of you, you've probably noticed that the FMC has the wrong IP address. We'll go ahead and change that in a minute. So the command we're looking for here is config manager add the IP address of our FMC, which is 172.29.129.15, and then a key that we will use as a kind of password. And we'll do the same for FTD2. I would recommend in a production environment that you use something a bit stronger than Cisco as your key. Well, FTD2 is just sorting itself out. It's actually finished. We'll jump on to the Network Management Center. Okay, we'll go to the IP of the FMC, which I think it was 172.129.168. Yeah, 168. Yeah, would help if I could type. Should auto redirect to HTTPS, yep. Ah, okay, that would be why. Our NMC isn't actually configured to be on the same network as that. So let's just take a look what interface. So Ethernet 1. Which on here will actually be Ethernet 2. Okay, we can see that's on the wrong subnet. One 129, and we'll stick this up in the 200 somewhere so we don't rush of anything else. Okay, there we go. It's looking much better. Okay, so we will set a new password, which has to be, as you can see, at least 8 characters, 1 uppercase, 1 lowercase, 1 digits, and 1 special character. We'll go to next. We'll accept the end user license agreement. Okay, we'll change it from DHCP to static. In fact, we'll change the host name first. Yeah, we'll give it a fully qualified. Change it to .15. Gateway's the same. And we'll leave the DNS externally facing for this because we want it going direct out of the management network that we set up here. If you remember, this has a NAT function that allows it to get out to the internet. And that's working, which is good. Probably should have changed the NTP servers while we were there. Actually, we'll do that once we get into the FMC interface. We'll just look up some NTP addresses now. Okay, we'll use 0 and 01 for the UK. That's where I'm based. Okay, it's logged us back into the .15 address once we changed it, which is nice of it. Okay, username admin and our newly set up password. Yep, I'll tell it to end the existing session. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to kick off the 90-day evaluation period. What we're going to do first is we're going to change them NTP servers just so that we're in the correct time zone. We go to the settings cog up here and go to configuration. Interested to see actually what is it that's lagging here. We go into expert mode. If we do a top and look at the resources. Okay, so CPU there. Yeah, okay. The CPU utilization is quite high. So I think once I've done this video, I will stop the FMC, give it a few more resources and then start it back up again. I think the memory looks fine. It's probably just the CPU. I wasn't sure whether it was the firepower that was flagging or whether it was the network management center. So we'll just give that a quick check as well. I mean, this doesn't seem to be responding very well either, but I think this already does have 4 CPUs, I think. Yeah, so that should be plenty. Okay, we'll bump it up. We'll give it a couple extra, just in case. Okay, so adjusting the NTP is down here and it's under time synchronization. And we want to change the two NTP servers that we're using. First one was, yep, 0.uk.pool.ntp.org. No key needed. And the second one was just 1.uk. Okay, so we'll go ahead and save that. Okay, so now we'll add our FTD devices. So across the top here, we want devices, device management. Apologies about that, my RDP session has just decided to flag a bit on me. Okay, yep, so into devices, device management, and then we want to add a new device. So the address for FTD1 was 172.29.129.30. Display name will be FTD1. Our key was Cisco. We're not putting it into any group yet. Access control policy 1 doesn't exist and you have to create one. So we'll call this HQHA and we will have network discovery only to begin with. Okay, we will choose to have malware, threat defense and URL filtering. And we'll click register. Okay, a nice status message there saying it started registering, which is obviously a good sign. Okay, there we go. Happy days. Okay, that will start discovery now, which will take a while. So what we'll do, go ahead and add the secondary. So this was 172.29.129.35. This is FTD2. Registration key of Cisco. Access control policy HQHA, just what we want. And then we'll have malware, threat defense, and URL filtering on this one also. Okay, so once that's added, that's going to go into network discovery also. So I'll pause the video there, and then we'll pick it up when that's complete. Okay, welcome back everyone. That's the device is now done the network discovery. They've installed and they've pushed a lot of sort of like pre-install updates. So as you can see here, as I mentioned before, it can take quite a bit of time. But that's now complete. So yeah, we can see this pre-deployment global configuration generation failed, but it did actually complete after that. These alerts don't actually auto clear themselves. Yeah, same with the policy pre-deployment. We can see up here it's actually succeeded after that. So we can go ahead and clear all of these. Okay, so let's just try redeploying that. Okay, so this is something that we have to do. So in order to set up the HA, all policies that are waiting to be deployed have to be deployed. You can't set up HA while there's deployments waiting. Okay, with that only being 8%, I'll pause the video there and pick it up hopefully when the deployment's finished. Okay, so that's FTD1 complete. FTD2 shouldn't be far behind it. I think what we're going to do in this video is we're going to stop it. We're going to configure these in HA configuration just so they are bonded together. And then I'm going to create a second video where we do the interface configuration. Okay, so we're all green now, which is good. So we'll go back to devices and device management. We will go back to the add drop down and we'll select high availability. We'll give it a name. We'll call it HQHA. Device type, yep. Firepower threat defense. Our primary peer will be FTD1. Our secondary will be FTD2. And we'll say continue there. This operation restarts snort processes of primary and secondary devices. That's fine. For anyone who didn't know, snort is the IPS engine that Firepower uses in the background. Okay, so this is asking us about which interfaces we want to use for HA and state. So the HA is almost like a heartbeat interface. The state link, for anyone who didn't know, this shares the state of the TCP and UDP connection tables so that when a failover happens, that stateful information gets passed over to the secondary firewall and everyone's connections don't have to re-establish. So this is something that we've actually missed off the diagram. If we take a look, we only have one connection in between the two firewalls. So we'll go ahead and add a second. So 03 will be our HA and we'll use 04 as our stateful. So HA we said would be 03. Logical name, we'll just call it HA. Primary IP, we'll use something that we're not using. 253.253. 253.254 as a secondary. With a /30. Stateful link is gig04. Logical name, we'll call it stateful. Primary IP will go 192.168.254.253 with a secondary of 254.254 and again a /30 subnet mask. We'll click add. And just in case this takes an obscene amount of time again, I'll pause the video there. Okay, that was a good job. I paused that because that took quite some time. We have an error message here saying the cluster failover state has failed. I think this is just due to certain services restarting when you create the cluster. So what we'll do is we'll go into the notification area, we'll go into the health, and then we'll go into the health monitor. Okay, so this may actually rectify itself before we get a chance to look at it. So we can see there the secondary says that it's detected an active mate. So yeah, if we just pop down into here where the error messages are, just click into it, will take us into the sort of health monitor. We'll be able to kick off whatever's failed. We'll be able to kick off another check of it manually. Yep, so here we go. There's the thing that's failed, the cluster failover status, and we'll just click run, and hopefully that will pass now. Okay, there we go. So as you can see, that was only for FTD1. We had a alert for FTD2 as well. So if we go into the health monitor again. Okay, yeah, and we'll click on FTD2. Yep, and we'll say run on that particular monitor again. Okay, so we'll go back to devices and device management. And we can see there we have a healthy HA cluster ready to be used. So in the next video, we'll edit this cluster, and you can see so this sort of pencil icon here is the edit function. That's now disappeared from the two single devices. So you edit everything from the cluster now. We'll go in there and we'll configure the routing, we'll configure the interface configuration, and we'll start to configure our zones as well. Just while we're here, actually, what we'll do is we'll shut down the Firepower Management Center. Yep, we'll go in and we'll edit that. We'll give it a couple more CPUs as it's running a bit sluggish, and I think the memory was all right. That's 10 gig of RAM, so that should be fine. And then hopefully in the next video it will be a bit more responsive for us. Okay, so that is setting up the the FMC was pretty much done for us. We just had to change the address, the password, and start the evaluation license, and we added the FTDs to the FMC, and we set up the FTDs in a HA cluster ready to be configured. So if you found this helpful, please like, share, subscribe, and thank you for watching.